Good morning, everybody. This is Mark from MT.TrainRestorations. I'm back again. We're still working on this 259E project for a customer. And where we left off last was I was going to dress out the front boiler, which I did. I was able to wheel the nickel plating off of those little eyeball lights there. They are copper underneath. I kind of, like I said, hit it kind of lucky with the trims. The customer wanted copper, and so far so good. And we have been making copper pieces of piping and railing out of copper wire, which I have another piece of copper wire insulated 14 gauge, which I will make the other railing out of. And excuse me, like I mentioned before, the little Lionel emblem on the cab is in great shape. They look new, so I put those on. They look really nice with the black cab. Also some other miscellaneous pieces that I need to finish. Like I said, the weight for the back of the cab, which was gunmetal gray, we had to strip. I used some chemical stripper on it. Actually saved some time. So that goes on like that. What I'll do is I'm going to paint it semi-gloss black and let it dry a little bit, and we'll get that ready to go. These are the trucks that came on this one. You can see there's some bent and not too bad a shape. There's really no rust to speak of. Just need to be cleaned, wire wheeled, and then repainted. I'll just do that with some paint. I don't think it's worth getting the powder coat stuff out for that. So I'll do these. These parts need to be painted before I can assemble. So I'm going to go do that. And then we'll come back and I'll make a railing. And when I get back, hopefully we'll be able to start to reassemble all this, and it'll start to look like a train engine pretty soon. So until then, I'll be right back in a little bit. This is Mark from MT.TrainRestorations. Thanks for tuning in again, and more to come. Bye-bye. Hello, I'm back. So where I left off, we got this, got the cab put on. I just have to rearrange the tabs here to get down in the slots. This one here jumped out. We'll get that down in there. I have to release that a little bit to get that one down in there. Not a problem, we can do that. Then we'll come back and we're going to put railings on. I got the other one made. Going to use the old stanchions. I polished them up, and we're going to assemble this thing. So I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so to put the railings on, I want to bring in my little cradle. We're going to turn this upside down without really scratching it up or anything like that. So what we want to do is pull this forward here a little bit, clean off a little space. We're going to do most of the work from the cradle. So we have the railings. Let's dry fit them here real quick and see what we got. So we'll have, this will go inside. Might as well stick it in here and just kind of see how this is going to line up. Remember, this was hand bent, so I think it's going to be pretty good. Because that's going to be held off there. So I think we're going to go with this. Looks pretty good shape. We're going to put some of these on. We need 4. I think they're going to be a nice contrast, being nickel with all this golden brass. That's just me. Maybe somebody has different thoughts, but that's what I'm seeing right now. Actually, you know, I'm going to drop this one down from the top. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put it on here and just feed these down, these couple down to where they belong. Around those corners are a little less difficult to get around. So we'll get this one in where it goes. There we go. Okay. So I think they're squeezed tight enough we can fit them into the necessary locations. So what we want to do, let's start by putting it in here, feeding it back into the cab, get these roughly spaced out, and then we can go from there. Okay, get this bottom into the hole and get this bottom clip into its hole. There, that's a good start. Okay, so then number 2, okay, that's in. Number 3, we'll take a little bit of maneuvering. Just sometimes those tabs are a little bit, want to fight with you. Look at that. Okay, so we just need to turn it over. We're going to need to poke inside here. See, what I usually try to do is get one of the ones in the middle first, spread out. That'll kind of keep it in place while I play with the other 2. This one here would be next. We're going to make sure it's down in place. And we want to feed that in there and open this up. There we go. I'm going to push this one down. And that will hold that in there. So we got that. Now we can dig this one. You can see it. I'd like to hold with the back of my finger, try to get that in there. Sometimes these are opened up enough you can get your little screwdriver in there. If not, you can use the X-Acto knife to open it up a little bit and just put a little twist to the screwdriver just to spread them out. Now this one here is probably easier to get it from inside the boiler cap. That's why I leave that off. So you want to, again, bend these into the location where they're sticking straight out, and then get that tab and find that split in the tube and just open that up just like that. So hopefully you can see that down in there. It's hard to see in the dark, but get some light on that maybe that helps a little bit. So there's that one in there taken care of. So one side on. I think it looks pretty good for homemade. And then we'll go to the other side now. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some of these on. Oop, wrong way. Start in the back, feed them all down. And I cleaned up the other one the other day. This one here, since I just bent it, I didn't do the edges. Remember what I want to do is do the edges, these ends, to keep them where they're not too sharp. Get this one out of here. And then that way you won't get cut or you won't scar up your paint. So just use a trusty file. And we're just going to take some of that roughness. Try to round that or spin this around a little bit, round that. Oh yeah, it's nice and smooth. And same with this one here, you know, because fingers get under there, underneath here, and some fingers, you know, they get in the back of the cab, and you don't want to get poked or slice your finger open or anything like that. So just round those off, make them smooth, and then we'll spread these out. They'll get around these corners fairly easily. 2 for down here, 2 stay up there. Get that one there, and get this one all the way down. So let's see how we get there. Almost around the corner. Come on, there we go. Wants to fight a little bit. Don't want to go, saying, I don't want to go. So what we can do is just open that up just a little bit, help it around the corner. That's not even a bad corner. So there we go. That one there, get it around here. That's okay. So now we can squeeze it together a little bit. We want to get it to fit in that little square down here. So we would squeeze these together back again and get that where it's easily worked with. Okay, so with that said, let's see if we can get this in place. Again, feed it through the little hole. Don't forget that. And kind of get these spaced to where they're going to live. And then push it in, if needed, into the cab to get these two lined up. These are the first two you got to get in. You got the copper to get down in the hole. And we also got to get the, you know what? I don't like that one backwards, because I want to be able to bend that tab inward. So what I'm going to do is open this up, take it off, spin it around. There, I'm going to spin this one around here and turn, put the long, the long tab, the long one. There's two different lengths, so put the long one facing inward, because when you bend them, bending it out to the edge, you won't have enough room for that one. So try to keep the long ones on there facing towards the inside of the pilot. And we're going to fit this back into the hole again. Bring this out roughly where they drop. And we'll line this up again. You can stick that one in, start that one if you want. But like I said, this is the critical one you want to get lined up and before you can stick the tab in. So here we go. There. That one's in. That one started. We want to get this one started. Oop, this one popped out. There's always got to be one that wants to argue. Okay, that one started, this one started, that one started. Okay, well, that one was started. Okay, so they're all started in. Okay, so these are in again. Turn it over. I'd like to start with this one. This one kind of holds everybody together. So do that one first. Put your finger, back it up with your finger behind, pushing forward, and get them tabs bent over to secure that one. Good. So then we're going to secure this one. Again, hold the stanchion with your finger in the back and spread that open. That's good. Now back to here. So like I said, see how the long tab is facing in? We wanted the same thing on this side. So we got that. So when you spread that out, the long one's facing in, because you can bend that one all the way down. It'll be out of sight, and it holds that in. So that's a nice hold right there. And then the last one, again, want to push that in, line it up a little bit, and then we want to find it inside here. As you can see, there it is. Hope you can see that. And I'm just going to get in between the two tabs and fold them over. So there's that. That looks pretty good there. Let's see if you can see how that's done. So for the most part, those are the hard ones there. Just getting the railings on. And for being homemade ones, that's not too bad. The last thing I'll put on is going to be the bell. And because that one here is just going to be a real snug fit. I ground off the back to punch it through, so there's not much stud of it left. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shave this stud down a little bit. We'll get it to click into place, and what I do then is I glue it from behind. I have some really strong epoxy glue that will hold that in, but I think the nickel bell will go good because we have some nickel stanchions, nickel bell, and then we're going to have the nickel on the rod, so I think that's going to be a good combination. So what's left is going to be the boiler front, which I mentioned yesterday. I was painting the front black because I think gold would be just a little overkill, and the nickel color that it was, it was a casting of some other magnesium material, whatever that's made out of. It looked kind of funky, so I don't know if it's dry enough yet to handle. Let me take a look real quick on my drying rack and see what we got. It seems to be a little bit tacky, but let's see how she looks when she is going to be put together. See, I think that'll go pretty nice. So what I did is, the way these fit, these are a snug connection here. I popped them loose. So what I'll do is have to pop that back in there by closing these up a little bit, putting them in through and opening back up. So I'm going to wait till this dries a little bit more, pop that open. And then, so we're pretty good shape so far. So far, so good. We have all this put back together, got that tab in, took a second, got all the other tabs bent over. So the front, the bell, then we're going to be dropping the engine in here pretty quick, the motor. We'll get that in there and connect the rods up. So we're almost there. So I'll be back again. Sure, I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll get some more of this going and get this done. Bye. Okay, I'm back. So here we got one on. Only took me actually another minute or two, but I come up with a way it wasn't too bad. So all I got to do is drop the nut on the back of here and put a little Loctite on it, and that will take care of that. We just snug up the screw, put a little Loctite on the nut, and then that way it will always be able to come off if need be. But as you can see, got that going. We want to put that nut on there. Again, all these little challenges we have to face in life. This is not too bad. I'm trying to think here which one of these go to that. I think it's one of these. It's a biggie. So let me try the screw in this one and make sure that we're on the right one here. Yep. There we go. And then I'll just snug that up because we want that to move freely. So we'll back that off of here. There we go. So once I put some Loctite on that thread, the nut will not move and wiggle around, and it will stay put. That even with motion, these have the tendency to back the screw out. The nut falls off sometimes. On the 249s, when I work on the 249s, I do a similar item. I use a screw, and I don't need to put a nut in here. There's enough, and it fits on the outside, which is great. With that fitting on the outside, makes a difference on these 259s. They have it set up to fit on the inside of the frame where the 249s fit on the outside of the frame. So I put the same screw and I tap the hole the same way, and then I just put a little Loctite on the back of the threads, and I back it off just a smidgen, and that keeps the screw from falling out with motion of the train. And then, but if you ever need to take it off, you can crack it loose. It's just made to keep them from falling out on their own. So anyway, so what I did to get that one on, we're going to try the same thing on this one. So what we're going to do, move this over a little bit. See if we can get this to where we can see what we're doing. So one goes inside, the short one dangles down, obviously, so we're going to have this outside. This is going to be the inside, this is going to be the top, and we want the rivet to face out. So we want to do this kind of a thing right here. So we want to get, upside down. Okay, I forgot we're going to the other side. So we're going to have this one, the big rod in there. This is going to be on the inside. We want to feed that on. Oop, come on now. Get that fed on. Get that through. Get this rod behind. There. And then we drop this other rod through the hole. Almost there. There. So, then with that said, we'll get a screw ready. Get another one of those. We want to feed this up onto the screw. There we go. There. So it's on the screw temporarily. We'll get a couple more turns in here, then we'll dump it on its side here. And then we'll go for it again. We're going to try to get another nut on that end of that. Gotta love the challenge. Get another one of those put in there. We'll feed that down inside there. Get my screwdriver on here. We'll get down in there. Oh, but I think I got it. I think I got it started. Yeah. Okay, so we got that one started. So we want to snug it just a little and then back it off when we got a good motion here. So we don't want it loose and wobbly, but we don't want it too tight. Yeah, it's a little snug. Okay, we'll back that off. There we go. Okay, so with that said, this one's on, and you can see the nut will turn, but it's not going to come off. It'll pivot. It'll swing freely with the Loctite on it. We're going to do the same thing over here to this one. Just a little drop. It's all we really need over there. Okay, we'll let that sit a minute or so. So that should be that one. Obviously we don't want to glue the mechanism to itself or to the frame where it doesn't move, so periodically I just kind of pick it up and make sure that we're still moving the way we want to move. There we go. Okay, so with that, drop these to the outside there a little bit, put this back in my cradle right, get some of this stuff and move it over. We don't want to lose too much of these parts. So let's straighten out our doily and get our doily back in place. Yeah. Okay. So now, with that, this has been tuned up. It's been checked out. The brushes have all been cleaned. Armature's been cleaned. We're going to see how this goes. So what we need to do next, we want to be able to drop in our weight and get our weight. And the stud that goes through the weight gives us our mounting post for the engine motor. So with that, let's see if I painted that earlier. Let's see if it's dry and ready to go. Oh yeah, that'll come out pretty nice. Let's see here. I'm going to see how this fits in here. Yeah. Get that stud, that screw back down in there. And I believe there's a washer on that. Let's see what we got here. I think this little lock washer went here. That kind of, once we put this weight back on, and then the rest of the stud that's left will give us our mounting stud for our, let me see here, I think I got a driver for that. There. Okay, so with that in there and the weight in there, now these two little, what we call knife blades, or if you want to call them tabs, whatever, they fit in these little spots right here. There's two little notches. Those knife blades fit in those notches, and make sure your bulb is snug. Your connecting rods are lined up where they need to be, and we want this pointing down. We want to get it in that slot. Everything has a slot. Everything has a place to go. You'll kind of know when you're in them. There. That's it. Now we want to get the handle from the top engaged in the right place. So let's see if we can see it. See where we're at with it. I don't even see it in there. I'm going to make sure it's pointing down. Let's check it again. It might have moved on us. Yeah, it did move a little bit, so. I'm not seeing it where I can grab a hold of it. Okay, let's try that. Oh, okay. There she is. Okay. So that's through. And we just got to get it fed there. So we're fed on. We got the handle through. We got the back set down on. So we have another little nut to deal with here. These are always fun. Let's see if we can get this started here with this. Maybe, maybe not. Nope. Got to get it started at least on that stud. And well, let's see. I think we got it a little bit there. There, I think we got to start. Okay. So that started. Snug it up. The next thing to do is the rods. So and we have a spacer. I like mine pointing down. That's just me. I think most of them point up. I like mine pointing down. There's a little washer. It goes over top. And then this one looks like it needs a little help. We'll get the Dremel tool, clean that up a little bit for the screws. The hex-headed screws that go on there to hold this together, the linkage. We'll just take a little bit of that rust off there and shine these up. Get that started in there. And I think I have a little driver for this one too. It's a small one, but I think, yep, that's the one. So you just want to snug it. You don't want to over tight anything. That's for sure. So we got that. We got that. Another spacer. And then the other washer. And then, oh, forgot the rod. Put that in here. Then the washer, and then, oh, we're going to put a little bit on here too. Clean this up a little. Okay. Just make sure the washer stays. There's two flat sides to that washer, so it grips. Okay, so with that said, now I also got to paint the pilot for the customer, so I'm going to do that before I think I'll put this all back, the trucks and so on, because I just painted those two today. Let me see how they're coming along. They're not too bad. They came out pretty good. So with that, I got to put the wheels on them. I can put the rear one on for sure. And it came out pretty good. But what I think I'm going to do, see a couple spots on there. I'm going to give another coat. So we'll be back to this one after I'm going to touch up the pilot wheels and the trailing wheels, trucks, and then put the wheels on it, the gold wheels, and then I'm going to paint this too. So got a little bit to go, and then we'll be done with this one. I'm going to tape this all off and give it a good spray of the semi-gloss. We'll be back to this project here pretty soon to do the last finishing touches. Then we'll definitely watch it, go around the track a few times, and then we'll go from there. We'll get the tender ready next. All it has to do is be put together, and we'll try it out, and we'll see if this will be ready to ship out for the client. All right, folks. Again, Mark from MT Restorations. Comments are always welcome. Email me with questions or what your thoughts are, if you have better ways of doing things, so on. Perfect. I'd like to hear them, see them, whatever you can do. You can email me at MT.TrainRestorations, all one word, at gmail.com. So this is Mark saying goodbye for now. And we'll continue this as soon as I get a few more odds and ends ready to be installed on this engine. Bye-bye.